I need to get me a proper vlogging camera for the car because this thing looks ridiculous. If a cop sees this, I am so getting pulled over, it's massive. Welcome back guys to another episode on the R33, brought to you from under an RX-7 and in front of another car. If you're not working under a car whilst you're working on a car, just not doing it right. Not doing it right at all. Anyway, so today we're looking at the R33 and I need to swap out the coil packs. Now a lot of you guys have done this sort of thing before. It's fairly straightforward, but for those of you who haven't, let's go and have a look and see what we've got to do. Reason is I bought the car and within a couple of days, like it was mint, and then within a couple of days it started breaking up at like the 4.5K to 6K mark, and it was like just falling apart. So I nabbed my brother's coils. Luckily he has a Series 2 as well. Nicked his coils and mint, fixed the problem. And I bought some new coils. I've just been waiting to put them in. They've just been sitting on the shelf for a while now. So we're gonna go ahead and put them in. Fairly straightforward. There's already a couple of bits off the car because I left them off knowing I'm going back in there, but you'll get the point. Let's get into it. All right, so I left this part off. There was no point in me putting it back on because I was gonna take all this back off anyway. It's a little bit dirty because it's been sitting around. All right, let's just get this strut brace up out of the way. I'm just gonna get a bucket for all the bolts. Right, so basically, if you don't have a strut brace, you don't have to worry about that. I'm just gonna loosen off all of the hoses, and there's a couple of bolts holding on the actual J-pipe here, and then I'm just gonna move it, twist it out of the way. It's fairly straightforward, but it's much easier to move it out of the way, and then it is to try and pull stuff out from under there. It's just impossible, so it's best just to get it out of the way. Right, a couple of 10 mils there. Mine has an earth lead on one of them. Yours may not, probably won't. I'm doing the clamps for the blow-off valve. If you've got an aftermarket one, this might be a little bit different. Just in case you didn't know, these are the proper tools for doing these style of clamps. It's like it's a special tool. You can use pliers on them, but these are real handy because you can lock them and you can twist them and you can like maneuver quite well with them. So they are pretty good. They're real helpful. They take a lot of the stress out of getting them clips off. All right, and then the vacuum line going to the blow-off valve. I've lost the microphone. And there's another one underneath that one.
Alright, so sorry guys, at this point I lost my microphone. I must have killed it. Basically, you want to just get off all the vacuum lines that are on the J-pipe towards the throttle body, so you can twist it up and out the way. There's two fairly large ones. One goes to the blow-off valve, one goes into the back of the J-pipe, or under the J-pipe. There's a hard line. And then there's a little one on top, which I've just got now. That one just slides off, and you just got to make sure your blow-off valve's undone. And you just sort of wiggle it about a bit and just twist it up and out of the way. Alright, just need to whip off your breather hose. Same, one of those says factory clips. Just pop that out the way, pop it off and rotate it up out the way. That's all you really need to do to get to your coil packs. Something that I wanted to show you guys at the very back of the head is your wiring harness for the coil packs, and on that is this white hoop. There's actually two wires. This white one, that one is your signal pickup for if you want to use a timing light. It can be a little bit finicky if you put your sensor around it. You need to find the right spot to get a good signal, but it does work. I have used it. If you have any issues like unplugging clips like this, you're pushing down on the clip and you can't get it off, best thing to do is push it forward, so like you're trying to push it back on, then push down and pull it off. That's just a little trick the old man told me, and it does actually work, rather than fighting with the clips. If you're just taking out your coil packs, you can just take out the bolts on the actual coil packs and remove those. Otherwise you can just unbolt the entire rails and take the whole lot out in two pieces, and it comes out in.
Right, let's go ahead and swap these things out. Got a new one here. This is a new one. It's probably a Chinese thing, like it's from a fairly reputable company, blah blah blah. They weren't super expensive, but they weren't the cheapest ones either. And from doing a bit of reading up, these are a fairly good coil pack. I think I paid like, I don't know, 300 for the set. That's New Zealand dollars, somewhere in there. So I'll go ahead and swap these out onto these rails, and we'll slam this back in the car. Right, we've got our coil packs all done, sweet as. Now I hope I've actually put them the right way in the bracket. I did follow the old one. I could have f***ed up though. Let's just quickly check. So I'm just going to drop them in. So I'll drop the back one in first. It's got it written on there. Rear. So rear facing this way. Sit in there. I'm just going to check the plugs all go in the right direction. Yeah, that one's gravy. And this one, front, that points that way. Just check this one, that way, that way. Beautiful, mate, beautiful. Wiggle it just a little bit. So if you have issues with yours and it's like breaking up, coil packs are normally like in the higher RPM range, but hey man, you never know. So definitely if it's breaking up, one of the first things you want to check on an RB is the spark. So coil pack, spark plugs. And that's really the first place you want to go. And I'll show you what coil packs look like when they're arcing out. See, mine fell apart real quick. Like they were all good and it just went 0 100. Failure. And the torque setting for these, by the way, just in case you didn't know, is 4.5 ooga doogas. Just to be on the safe side. There we go. There we go. Everything's bolted back in, and the loom's back in its little rails. Just keep it low enough on this ridge here, because otherwise it will hit this top plate, and you won't be able to get the top plate back on. And I could do with a better clean than that, but I've just given the top cover a little bit of a clean. I am actually planning on pulling the rock covers off and breaking everything. I am planning to pull these rock covers off and like gonna give them a nice paint, clean them up, because I need to do the seals as well, because there's got a slight leak down the back. And then I'll probably do something with this. Let's just pop this back in. All right, so it's just these 8 little Allen bolts, these little Allen head or cap screws. Cover's back on. I'm just going to slide that back over its little clip. Hold that in place. There we go. And basically, we're just putting everything back together now. Make sure all the hose clamps are in the right spot. Put that fella down and in like that. 2 bolts go in here. One of mine had a earth on it. Alright, do we have any more zippy zaps to do? No. Did I take that one? I did take that one off, didn't I? Yes, I did. Right. We just got to put... It's a really hard hose. That's on, that's on. Right. So we took off this one here, goes onto a solid line. Boom, that's back on. There's 2 off the manifold. Top one is for the valve valve, the bottom one is for the... It goes on the intake. It's looking a bit. So that's the 2 lines done there. Then we have this big one, which goes onto the J-pipe. That's all of the lines that we took off, so fairly straightforward. It's a quick, easy job, nothing crazy. Just make sure your vacuum lines are all back on. Everything you took off, it goes back on. Just double check, make sure everything's tight. Oh, and I missed this clip here, see, it's perfect. Well, double check. There we go. Boom. Before I put the strut brace down, I'm going to start the car and make sure it starts. It's alive! Alright guys, there you have it. It's running, which means we put everything back together properly and there's no issues. Well, let's go take it for a drive and let's see if there's any issues. I'm going to go hit some boost, leave it warm up for a minute, and let's go make sure these things are actually working. Then I can give my brother's ones back and move on to the next thing for the R33. I don't know how other YouTubers do this, man, with their camera in one hand and driving a manual. This is not easy. Alright, so let's have a quick pull. Oh, that feels violent. I need to get me a proper vlogging camera for the car because this thing looks ridiculous. If the cop sees this, I am so getting pulled over, it's massive. Anyway, it's pulling really well. Like all through the range, it sounds really good and it's pulling really good. Let's go for a pull. Yeah, it just spins up, that's good. Yep, that's what we want. That's what we're liking. So yeah, no, it feels really good. Very happy with it. It feels, it does actually feel better than with the stock coils, coil packs. Now I hear that the stock ones are just shit anyway. But yeah, glad I upgraded or got new ones. Feels good. All right, let's go have a look and see what happens when a coil pack breaks down and what to look for. All right, so super stoked with how that ran. I don't know if it's placebo, if it's in my head, but that felt a lot better than the stock RB coil packs. Like it felt good through the rev range, real smooth. Hit boost really well. Could be just in my head, but it's nice to know that I have working coil packs. My brother can have his back. Now let's have a quick look at what a coil pack looks like when it's been failing. Now this would be like one example. I'm sure there's many, but let's check this out quick. It looks like all these coil packs have got the same issue and like, yeah, definitely been like arcing out bad. I don't know why that worked for like the first few days though. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they just all gave out at the same time or it was just getting more noticeable. So I'll show you, hopefully it picks up on camera, but a lot of people look at this sort of yellow backing here and see if there's any discoloration. Let's see if we can get, so you can't see too much on there. It kind of, that looks all right. But if you look on the side here, you can see the well, hopefully you can see it, this discoloration here. That's like arcing out just mad. So all that spark would have been just going straight into the rocker covers and knocked down to the spark plug. So all of them pretty much have that. That's a big sign for your coil packs arcing out. So if you got anything like that, if there's any like weird cracking or anything on the back here, or any darkening around here as well, you've probably got an issue. So yeah, real common issue for the RBs. If you've got a problem when you're on boost, or if you've got like an ignition issue, you got some, it falls apart through the rev range, then you know, these are the sort of things you want to check. Spark plugs as well. Anyway guys, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. We'll see you in the next video because we've got some more stuff to do the R33, plus we've got the RX-7 to get sorted and the Beamer, we've got so much to do, so much coming up, like it's just crazy. Yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Nobody else, and that from you.